Hello there everyone, welcome to our Successful Events free open course. Let's start our journey to set up events that work. So, my name is Chagas and I'm an instructional designer by passion, a eternal student by vocation, and an event organizer by profession. I will teach you about planning and organizing events, how to make successful events. How about that? Who am I? Organizing events is awesome. I'm special to talk about it because that's how I started my professional career. I've already organized parties at my school for my friends. When I was a teenager, I went to college and immediately I went to the academic center to work with events. I was in charge of inviting speakers, promoting the events, contracting suppliers, organizing registration, all of that. Then I spent 2 more years producing events, even organizing for 100, 200, 500, 1000 people. Events with 8 simultaneous workshops, sponsored fundraising. I designed the concepts, created a website from scratch. I already knew how to code at the time. In 2013, I started to give a training to people who were entering the events area. That's when I put together a guide, which you can find in this lesson in the description, with basic planning tips. You start as a 10-page guide. Today it has almost 70 pages in its Portuguese version. Let's draw the big picture here. What is the definition of events? This is very tricky as there are many out there. According to the Cambridge Dictionary, events are anything that happens, especially something important or unusual. It may also be an event, also one particular group of outcomes among all possible outcomes when experimenting with probability. An event is also an activity that is planned for a special purpose and usually involves a lot of people, for example, a meeting, party, trade show, or conference. There is a research by the University of Manchester that proposed that an event is characterized by its rareness, which is not exactly what we're going for here. So to define if something is an event, we should base our assertiveness on probabilistic calculations, its frequency. Great. These are all very good dictionary contents are just generic, which makes sense, but I want something more specific because we both know what we are talking about here. The more complete definition is from a study published on the Journal of Management Studies. They propose 6 formal criteria for defining what's called field configuring events. This category is defined temporary social organizations such as trade shows, professional gatherings, technology contests, and business ceremonies. Yes, that's what I'm going for here. The 6 criteria are: events assembled in one location, actors from diverse professional, organizational, and geographical backgrounds. Events duration is limited, normally running from a few hours to a few days. Events provide unstructured opportunities for face-to-face social interaction. Events include ceremonial and dramaturgical activities. Events are occasions for information exchange and collective sense-making. And events generate social and reputational resources that can be deployed elsewhere and for other purposes. In my events course, I define events as a gathering of people with intent, meaning that people have to be together, not necessarily face-to-face, but with a purpose, so they want to be there. It leaves out unintentional meetups, flash mobs, and random encounters. This is broader than this last approach, but for it's not focused on professional or corporate environments. This was a great review in literature. What is a successful event? My expertise is making events successful, manage teams so they don't go through stress, events that convert into sales, contingency plans, setting up agenda and content, inviting speakers, commercial sponsorship. In 2016, I started my own event company that was acquired later. Since then, I have worked as an operations manager responsible for creating and managing a portfolio of more than 50 courses and 5,000 students per year between online and face-to-face. Until January 2020, I was responsible for the sales and customer service teams as well. This course is focused on professionals who are going to organize an event for the first time, who are not in the events area, but who need to organize events because they work in HR, marketing, sales, or to promote the product or service. And also for people who want to explore career options as event planners and producers. At the end of this series of 10 lessons, you will learn what are the components of successful events, the main points of event planning, and the best practices of organizing events in some areas. Cool? A little bit about the content you will learn. If you've worked with events, you must have already been through this. In the days before your big moment, it's when everything goes wrong and we get really tired. Let's get this over with by focusing on what really matters. In the first 3 lessons, we will see about the components of a successful event. That is, which areas you have to focus in order for your events to work and that you undergo the least amount of stress possible and reach your goals. Here's what happens. I have a confession. I am not a very detail-oriented person. I excel at dealing with people. So in lesson 5 to 7, we will talk about logistics, timetable, budget, the more technical part. I will give you 3 incredible tools that have helped me and my team to organize themselves and properly and to meet deadlines and financial objectives. Have you ever seen a budget being fun to fill? Cool, right? In the final lessons, we will enter the most experiential part. The marketing of your event, the experience of your audience, and it could not go missing about you. Which skills do I believe every event organizer should have and how to launch your career? We already discussed what a polymath is here. How does that sound? I'm very excited about it. Talking about events is something I'm passionate about, and education is my true calling. As we say in my hometown, better than that, just twice that. Make sure you subscribe to the channel to follow the lessons. Like this video if you think it can help you, and share with your colleagues or co-workers. Always look both ways. See you in the future.